today. So today we will be speaking about Section 21 medical cannabis licenses in South Africa. We're going to run through the private purposes bill, just to catch everyone up real quick, as well as the application process for Section 21 medical patients. And once we get through that, we're going to talk a bit about the problems that we're facing in South Africa with medical cannabis, and go through a bit of the distribution of medical cannabis, and then we'll distinguish between private clubs and medical dispensaries, and then look a bit at the road ahead. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Leo Grill. I am a cannabis educator and influencer. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Dr. Duffer, CPT, that's right there, if you want to follow that. I am also a medical cannabis patient, and I do a bit of strain testing for the 420 doctor. And that's not like scientific testing with machines more. I smoke the cannabis and tell them how the flavors are and the effects and all of that. So a bit more on the anecdotal evidence side of things. So I'm sure everyone that's sitting here already knows most of this, but just as a quick recap, let's look at the 2018 Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill. So as most of you know, in 2018 the Constitutional Court of South Africa decided to decriminalize the private use of cannabis, which includes possession, cultivation, and so on for adults. That includes that any adult can have 4 plants growing at home, and that's a maximum of 8 plants per household if there's 2 adults living there. Also, you can have 600 grams of dried cannabis flower, and if it's 2 people, that's 1,200 grams. So now I'm going to run through the application process. Any patients under Section 21 go through to acquire a medical cannabis card. So the first step is, of course, the patient either being interested and entering a dispensary, or then getting a letter of recommendation by their GP that cannabis might be helpful for whatever ailment they are suffering from. The second step would be for them to complete an online sign-up form and pay a sign-up fee, which goes to the doctor, a specialized doctor that can give out cannabis prescriptions. Once that has gone through and the doctor has recommended a certain amount of cannabis for the patient, this application is then sent to SAHPRA, the South African Products Health Regulation Authority, Association, something like that. And once that is put through, then the patient will receive a card, either a digital or a physical card, which can be scanned to display their Section 21 prescription. So some of the problems facing the medical cannabis industry in South Africa, I'll get to that now. So the growing of medical cannabis in South Africa is held by Section 21C 1B facilities, which are facilities that are licensed to grow as well as distribute or sell medical cannabis in South Africa. All of these facilities follow GMP standards, which are good manufacturing practices, which include thorough testing for microbials, heavy metals, and of course cannabinoid and terpene content to ensure that the patient receives the best cannabis possible and the safest cannabis possible. Now, there's a problem because there's more than 90 approved facilities in South Africa that can grow and produce medical cannabis, but a lot of them are facing financial issues or even facing bankruptcy. So that is partly because Section 22C licenses have been issued since as early as 2017 with no proper local medical market established at the time. So a solution could be more Section 21 dispensaries opening, and that could create a proper legal market for legal offtake for our medical cannabis in South Africa, which will also help the economy and create jobs in South Africa, as well as create specialists in the field in South Africa. Just to get a bit deeper on the distribution of medical cannabis and how the system currently works in South Africa, it's essentially a system that allows for license-to-license distribution. So facilities that have the Section 22C 1B license are facilities that can grow cannabis and distribute this cannabis in South Africa. But these facilities are really big. So there are also Section 21 pickup points, or dispensaries, how you would refer to them most of the time, which can facilitate the sale of medical cannabis in South Africa in smaller quantities to the patients directly. A question that people often ask is, where's the difference between a Section 21 pickup point and a simple private club, as a lot of people know them? So a Section 21 pickup point is a point where people can pick up medical cannabis if they have their Section 21 prescription. And that's only cannabis that has been used at Section 22C facilities. It's also a good thing that once a person has that prescription, they can pick up their medical cannabis at any Section 21 facility in the entirety of South Africa. Whereas with private clubs, they are just venues that are designed for shared consumption and just consuming in the space under the framework of private use. The difference there being that someone acquires a monthly membership for a certain club, but they are with that limited to that specific club or chain of clubs. So another difference is, of course, as I've mentioned, the cannabis at Section 21 licensed pickup points is always tested, and you can get the certificate of analysis, and it always follows good manufacturing practices. Whereas in private clubs, the cannabis can come from pretty much anywhere. And the last difference is that dispensaries or pickup points under Section 21 are pickup only, whereas the private clubs are designed for consumption on site. So we have a few hopes for the future of medical cannabis, which is that with the newest version of the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill, it's still awaiting Parliament's signature, and right now the penalties for trafficking, which is essentially dealing in legal speech and all of that, have been increased, and the Cannabis Master Plan for South Africa is just taking longer and longer, and it's unclear when that will be finally published, and it still seems years away. So we hope that the government will be able to issue documents to existing clubs and small businesses in order to permit them to purchase this bud grown at 22C facilities and distribute that from there. And this would, of course, help a lot of the small businesses and private clubs that are existing currently, which are worrying about their future and scalability. And as I've said, this would create a good local market. There still is obviously a long road ahead of us regarding access to quality products, taxation, as well as like public health concerns. And this is why medical dispensaries play a big part in this development. So legalizing will not only benefit the consumer, but the economy as well, create jobs, help with tax revenue, reduce illegal activity, and also help with tourism if recreational comes upon, and also will help with social equity and justice in South Africa. So, that was that. Okay, and then I'm just going to thank the 420 Doctor for allowing me to have this space right now. The 420 Doctor is one of the first legal medical dispensaries or Section 21 pickup points in South Africa. And they have a license and their certifications to Synergy Wellness to allow to facilitate the sale of medical cannabis in South Africa. they can also aid with acquiring a prescription for medical cannabis and advise on that. And they issue internationally recognized medical cannabis cards. And of course, all of their products are also approved by SAFRA. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.